Hi everybody, welcome back. Hard to believe, October's here. Live shows are back on, but sure, look, I hope you all enjoyed the season. I hope you all got some good fishing in. My name is Peter Driver. We're here in Piscarifly, as you can see, and it's the first night of our live shows. So we got a fantastic season lined up for you guys. We got lots of fly time, some great giveaways. We got our Christmas special coming up. We got lots of guest fly tyers coming in there with some fantastic patterns and techniques. We have a new segment in the show this year, which is feather harvesting and feather care. We got a taxidermist coming on with us who's made us some fantastic videos and shown us how he does his trade. For anyone that wants to get into a bit of feather harvesting or even just look after your feathers that you have. We got a casting clinic coming up. A casting guru has come on and made us a couple of fantastic videos about casting. We got loads of fly time, hot tips. We got fishing on the rivers, fishing on the lakes. We got a whole load of stuff lined up for you this year, folks. So really hope you are looking forward to the shows. I know I am looking forward to doing them. I love doing the Saturday night shows. Thanks for all your support. So sit back, relax, make yourself a cup of tea or whatever you're having tonight. And I'm going to head upstairs now and get ready. And let's go and play some flies. Thanks for watching. Hello everybody and welcome back to the live shows here with me, Peter Driver in Thomastown. We're based here in Piscarifly and I hope everybody's keeping well. How you doing, David Hannaford, Michael Callaghan? Great to be back too, Michael. Ricky Croak is on there. How you doing, Ricky? Who else we got there? Brian Kennedy. Hello, Richard O'Connor. Cyril Kerr is on there. Brian Canty, good to have on with us. Dave Donovan is there. Dave will be along, folks, with our trivia quiz again this season. Graham Lanigan, good to be back. Graham. Nigel Haynes, who's on holiday in Crete, you lucky devil. Declan Noonan. Ken is on there with us. Aidan Gale, Kieran Flynn, Billy Boland. How you doing, Billy? Graham Walsh. Jamie Conway. Jamie, happy birthday, Jamie. Jamie Conway's birthday today. Thanks, Jamie. Liam Long is on there with us. Paul Burke, Kieran Sherlock. Great to have so many people back on. First show of the series. It's our third series. 3 years we've been at this. Anyone that's new with us tonight, we basically run live shows every Saturday night from now till the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, which will be the Saturday before fishing season. So in the off season, our season's just closed, almost closed for everybody in the country, but it's closed for us here in Kilkenny on the River Nore. So we run a live show here every Saturday to get ourselves prepared for the new season, keep ourselves occupied, keep our minds occupied, and I hope everybody's keeping well. Of course, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody up in Donegal at the moment. Tragedy, complete tragedy up there. I say our thoughts and prayers are. So welcome back, everybody. I hope everyone enjoyed their season. There was plenty of good fishing and plenty of good stories to be told. How you doing, Rick? Who else there? Alan. How you doing, Alan? From Madeira in Scotland. Johnny McGar. How you doing, Johnny? Hope you're keeping well. So we have lots on for this season, folks. We have lots of new little bits and pieces, trying to up our game a little bit here. I have a new studio, built a new studio there recently. I had to make some modifications today to it to get it going. It's been a bit of an ordeal with cameras and stuff, but we have a new bit of a studio here. I hope it's going to be just a bit more efficient for me anyway, if nothing else, because I do the producing, the tying and the talking and everything else at the same time. How you doing, Dalsey? Donald Rafferty's on there as well. It's good to be back, guys. With lots of special guests lined up for this year. Some of the old favourites are coming back. We got some new people coming on, got some very interesting segments coming in through the whole series. Going to introduce into some of them in a little bit. I said Dave is back on with his trivia. Got some nice spot prizes to give away. Of course, don't forget you can win tonight's flies and any flies I would have tried earlier on. There's a couple there in the tub already for a bit of practice. All you got to do is hit the share button on the stream or drop by and say hello, put a comment in the comment box, and that will enter you into the live stream. Hi to everybody on YouTube tomorrow. We tried our best to get live to YouTube and Facebook at the same time, but unfortunately, again, internet is the biggest problem here in this area where we're living. We can only have the strength to stream to one channel, so we stuck to the Facebook Live as we always have. And tomorrow this video will be up on YouTube for everyone to enjoy and go back over and watch it as a reference point. So that's really it for now, folks. I want to suppose before we start, say special thanks to everyone for all their support throughout the year, throughout the season. I dropped in to see sauce, picked up a bit of gear, got some advice. I hope you all found it beneficial. I know some of the patterns we tied on last year's show, people found very beneficial, and we got some great feedback. Don't forget, if you need any tying gear this year, check out www.piscarifly.com for all your fly tying. We were down in Ed Maher's today in Adair Springs for the official launch of the Irish Spring Angling Fair 2023. Great day down there, great to see a great crowd of people. Brilliant show last year down there in the springtime, and really looking forward to the 29th and 30th of April in 2023 when the next year's show will be come on. Bigger and better than last year. Fantastic show last year. Really looking forward to what's to come. Ned's got some great plans down there, and should be a great event. So if you haven't marked that in your diary, do so, and we'll see us down there, lock, stock and barrel. Great weekend to be had down there. Great venue. But anyway, how you doing, Steve Livingston, Martin O'Rourke? How you doing? You're very welcome. Great to have everyone back on us. Don't forget that share button. We're going to get right back into it. Okay, so a little bit of a reflection night tonight before we get into some of the more structured segment stuff going forward. So we've got a lot of feedback over the summer months and things like what people want to see. A lot more technical stuff coming in. Like we'll have wing nights, we'll have salmon nights, we'll have pike nights. We're going to have sea bass nights. Lots of special guests on with us, as I said. Lots of very interesting topics to be discussed and stuff. So that's all coming. We got around 22 weeks, I think, this year coming of live shows. So this is the first segment. So hope everyone joins in throughout the winter months. But so looking back, I kind of during the week I sat down and really thought. Thanks, Wilkes. Hi, Peter Wadding's on there as well with us. I sat down during the week and kind of picking my probably three good solid patterns that worked for me throughout the season. It was kind of an odd season, really. A couple of different things occurred and sort of shaped the season in an unusual way. Plus the weather, of course, didn't help with the hot droughts during the summer, the cold spring. We've seen a bit of a trend in that over the last number of seasons. So hopefully we'll maybe miss a season or two next year. But three of the better patterns. So we got a lovely little nymph pattern here for you now. We got a really cracking dry fly pattern coming up, and then also later on in the show we're going to be doing a stimulator that I'm not going to say I'm sick of tying at this stage, but I tied a lot of them throughout the winter months. How you doing, Stephen O'Reilly? Hey, do Robbie Berry's here as well, and Sean Matters on there. Hope you're keeping well, Sean. So we're going to start off with nymphs. So if you remember last year, probably on this very episode last year, the first one, I spoke about the Tommi number 6 nymph, okay, which was a very simple nymph, Tommi number 6, UV reflective tying thread. As you all know, I love this stuff. We tied a very simple nymph last year. It was really effective the season before, probably our best nymph, and it resulted in this year of being one of our top nymphs again. It was a fantastic nymph, dry dropper or European nymph style. It was a fantastic nymph, and a lot of other people, we got great feedback throughout the entire season. Other people were really, getting a lot of fish on this particular little, very, very simple nymph. But as nature is, we can't leave it alone. We have to try and improve it. We have to try and alter it and see if we can make it any better. How you doing, Graham? Robbie's on there as well. Phil, how you doing, Phil from Manchester? Good to have you on us, Phil. So I adapted a few patterns, made a few changes, and while the original pattern still worked really, really well for us, there was a couple of other patterns that were standout. And this particular one is a little bit of a standoutish pattern for Euro Nymph. Wasn't as successful on dry dropper as say the original, but definitely Euro Nymph style, upstream Euro Nymph style. This was this took a lot of fish for us this season. So basically in the vise here I've got the Hackle Jig size 16. I got a 3.5mm tungsten bead stuck up on that there, and I'm going to go with my usual Tommi UV reflective tying thread. Just start that off there behind the bead and make my way down the body a little bit. So I'm not sure how many people have came across the gasoline Perdigon this year. I know it's been around for a little bit, but it's really claimed to fame is really accelerated this year. It's tied with Hends Krystal Flash number 233, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Has been selling out every time we get in 20-30 packets of it. It's gone within the day. There's 20 packets on the way. There's none in shop no moment, but there is 20 packets away. Very, very productive nymph. I will tie one for you at some stage. Maybe we'll do a Perdigon night and I'll tie one of those for you. So we kind of amalgamated our Tommi number 6 nymph and a bit of the gasoline, and it turned out to be quite successful. A little bit of cocktail on here going in the tail, and just going to secure that into place. Hope everyone can see and hear me okay. Hard to believe we're back again. Gosh, it's only like a month ago we were actually into March saying good luck to you and wishing us all the best for us new season, and here we are back into time. So now I'm going to get a little bit of Krystal Flash. It is Hens. It's a gasoline, it's called, colour. It's a Krystal Flash, and we're actually going to tie that in there at the butt. Secure that in, and I'm going to form my tapered body then with my Tommy number 6. So this is probably one of our most productive adaptations of the original Tommy number 6. So we tried it on dry dropper, got some fish on it, but I think that the size of the nymph, the way it's built and the way the finish is to look, it's just, you don't get the same kind of, I don't know, impact, I suppose would be a word I could use to describe it, that I get on a size 16. If I was going out to an 18 or a 20, it just doesn't really seem to have as good impact. If anybody has any, thanks Robbie for that. If anybody, hey Wayne, so you were out picking some pumpkins today, Wayne, were you? Stuck for words there. Anybody has any questions, of course, shoot them across, don't be afraid. We love a bit of chat and a bit of crack. Always a good bit of crack on these shows. Anybody that's new to us this year, I hope you enjoyed them. So tapered up a nice little body there, as you can see. It's quite bright, this stuff. It takes off, it's UV reflective. So tapered up a little bit of a body there. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to remove the Tommi-fly. Okay, just watch that hens, it does furl up quite a bit. So we're going to remove the Tommi-fly out of there. It's strong enough to attach everything in at the beginning, but that's really as strong as it gets. How you doing? Dylan Roberts is on there from the Welsh D. Great to have you back on with us, Dylan. Looking forward to getting over to you soon enough, I hope. Catch a few ladies. So now I'm going to switch over to my Kevlar. A little bit stronger to add to do some of the tying off of the products as we build our body up here. Okay. I'm going to cover all that in a minute. And I'm going to catch my Hends Krystal Flash 233, should I say. And I'm going to wind it up the body. Wind it wrong way, Peter. So I'm just going to basically rib up that body. Taking my time, don't put too much pressure on it. And get a nice even rib up that body. I think Robbie would get shot if he said he's going out to catch a few ladies. Take away your gasoline. Krystal Flash. A bit of it. Something sticking out there. Now, okay, a little bit of Solarez. So I use the Solarez Blue Thin and Hard by Find That Fantastic. That's what I always use for my resin. A little bit of a painter's brush and a little tub is the best way I find to apply it. The neatest and the cleanest. And what I'll do is I'll give that a light coat. Don't go too mad on it. Just a nice light coat. As you can imagine, that Krystal Flash will be fragile enough. Without a little bit of protection there. So I'm just taking my time, getting a nice even layer on that. Don't want to overcoat it to bulk it up too much. And I also don't want to let too much resin get up just to where that, just behind that bead. I don't want that to become a kind of slippery surface by resining up near that bead. Yeah, looking forward to it too, Dylan. Ricky Croak there, Dave Donovan. Ricky Croak is on looking for a bit of a cheat on the yoke. So once I give that a little blast of the UV laser pen, setting fine, that's perfectly fine. Lovely and solid. It's a nice little ribbed body there. Okay, so next thing I'm going to add a little thorax cover. So what I'm using for a thorax cover here, if you can remember the original pattern, it had a black stripe up the back of the nymph. There was no ribbon on it or nothing. It was kind of, it was one of those nymphs that if you put any protection on it, it wasn't as effective. So you just have to tie a lot of them. They're gonna go after a couple of fish. Sometimes you might get 5 fish, and sometimes you might get 10, and they're gonna go. But the whole distinctive feature was that black stripe up the back body. So what I got here is a small little lump of black. This is body quill by Hens, black body quill. Okay, and I just double it over, treble it over. Thanks, Robbie. And I'm going to add that in there behind the bead. Take away my bit of waste. And of course, folks, as we go through the whole series, if there is something that anybody wants to see or any topic that they're quite passionate about or they're struggling on a particular aspect of their fly tying or fly fishing, do shoot us across a message during the week and we'll try to get to them. If I can't get them on the live show, I certainly will get back to you at some stage throughout the winter months. What I'm doing here now is I'm picking off a small bit of hare's ear, just off the side of the ear itself. Some of that nice fine spiky small little pinch. Really doesn't need to be much. Okay, and I'm just going to lay that down there beside me for a second. Sometimes I pinch with a clamp, sometimes I don't. And I'm going to get a needle and I'm going to split that thread, make a little dubbing brush there. So this is one of the nymphs that, we had a couple of other good nymphs that worked. There will be other shows on some nymphs that are coming up, and I'm keeping back some of the nymphs for a couple of the shows some of the other good nymphs. There were some caddis patterns there that worked quite well for us and stuff. So we will be referring back to some nymphs that worked quite well for us. We'll make sure and share at some stage all the different patterns. Even though your cameras, or you might see it might look quite bright, but where I'm actually sitting, I'm not in the dark, but it's certainly not as bright as you might think. I'd normally have a load of lights over the fly and be looking at it, because the way the lights affect the camera, it's actually dull enough back here where I'm sitting. So I'm just going to add in a little bit of that hair, just like so, a little bit of a clump, and then pulling the thread tight, keeping that nicely trapped in between the two strands. I'm going to, how you doing, Mikey? Brilliant, that's great stuff, Mikey. Mikey picked up a rainbow set off us there, and he doing well, I'd say. Good man, Mikey. So creating a little dubbing brush, really less is more here. Just have a trap there between, as you can see, have a trap there between the two threads, keeping a bit of pressure on that thread, making sure the two sides are trapping in the bit of hare's ear, or the little bit of hare's ear, and I'm going to just start spinning. So I hold it with my left hand, as you see my finger and thumb here, holding the thread, spinning underneath, not releasing that spin up yet, up the thread, until, no, it didn't really spin that much there, but if you just drop your thread bobbin and start spinning, all the hare's ear is going to fall out. So just use I use my left finger and thumb there just to trap it in. Take your time doing your dubbing brush, and as it starts to spin, I'll pluck out a couple of little bits, unwanted bits. I just want a small little dubbing brush here. And then let it spin again. And as you can see now, we're starting to get a nice little dubbing brush on that. Less is more here, folks. Less is more. So once I got a nice little spin on it, a lovely little dubbing brush there, as you can see, nice and fine, I come back down along, just onto where my resin would have stopped really, and a couple of nice turns up to the head of that fly. Okay, we're just giving a little spiky hackle basically to it, alright? A little bit of a dubbing brush there now, and just separate them a little bit. And now I'm going to catch my thorax, my black thorax cover. I like that, I like the black, as you can see, it's quite shiny. I like that real, it has quite a striking impact on the top of that fly. Just stroke back all your fibres. A couple of turns over the thorax cover, lift the thorax cover, thread between the thorax cover and the bead. Okay? Slide the scissors down, snip away. Hands are sticky now from. We've finished then. The reason why I put that one turn of thread between the thorax cover and the bead is so when the whip finish, that's exactly where the whip finish will go. It won't actually put any more pressure on that thorax cover by when I put the pressure on. Yeah, Rick, I absolutely can. We're going to be doing a grayling night, Rick. And I'll take a note of that. That's yeah, that'd be brilliant. So Rick wants to know how to do some 20 and 24 CDC dry flies for graylings and patterns. Yeah, absolutely, Rick. I'll certainly include that along the way. So there it is. That was the variation of our Tommy number 6 nymph from last year. Thanks, Kieran. Simple enough, but you can see how striking that black spot is up there at the back of the thorax. Nice simple little hackle, but doesn't yet interfere with the body. You're still going to see that lovely number 6 come through. That diesel or that gasoline ribbon is striking again over that as a contrast to that bright yellow number 6. Found that to be a really effective nymph. Thanks, Eddie. Really found that to be a very effective nymph this year. On upstream nymphing, folks, not that successful. As you can imagine, if I shrink the size of that bead down, those ribs, they're not going to get any finer. They become a bit overpowering. Thanks, Ian. They become a bit overpowering. So upstream nymphing, sort of size 16s, 3 mils, 3.5 mils, even up to 4 mils. An absolute fantastic nymph, very bright, very attractive, but yet very natural. And you know, you can just see that, say, that striking black spot. A little bit of thanks, Dennis. Dennis Golden around there was there as well. Thanks, Dennis. Really good one to start off your winter tie-in box now, folks. Get a blast of those in along with the originals. They would have been are definitely top 2 nymphs from the last season gone, would be all based around that Tommy number 6. Thanks, Graham. All based around that Tommy number 6. So we're going to go on now, folks, and we're going to do a little bit of a dry fly. But before I do, I mentioned earlier on at the start that we're going to have some different segments this year. And one of them are going to be is we have a casting clinic starting this year. So Peter Wadding, a guy double qualified in single hand and double handed, is going to be doing a bit of casting with us. So Peter's made us a series of videos in his casting and on several different techniques. You know, casting is something I've been passionate about. I'm app guy qualified for a few years now. Very passionate about, and you know, in order to achieve what you want to achieve in fly fishing, I think a real good sound knowledge base around your equipment, your casting, and the ability to cast properly is certainly a huge advantage. So if anybody is interested in you know, improving their fishing and stuff like that, definitely casting lessons are a way to go. Or if you feel you're up to it, thanks Kevin, thanks Robbie, thanks Aidan. But if you're really feeling up to it, you know, go and sit your exams, app guy or Gaia. Really worth doing, fantastic experience. But
up to what we call a deep position. Pause to allow the dealer to form, and then we make a forward cast like so. Once more, straight line incline, up to the quick position, pause to allow the dealer to form, and we make our forward cast.
Peter's here with us for a few episodes, so he's made a series of videos. So every week or 2 weeks or a couple of weeks, we're going to be sticking up Peter's tutorials, and really looking forward to some of them. I've seen some of them already. Fantastic caster, and his contact information's there as well if anybody wants to get in touch with Peter. But he'll be along throughout the series as well. We got lots of other stuff coming up. I won't spoil it too much. We're going to move on to another fly, folks. So we have a little dry fly here that's going into that tub. Don't forget, if you hit that share button or drop us a comment there, we will do a draw. Well, I won't, but the wife will. She's a bit more techy than me. But we will do a draw for those flies on Monday. Don't forget to watch out for Dave's question. It'll be coming along there shortly. I am just going to get rid of a bit of gear here, and I'm going to get some new gear out. So I've built a new fly tying desk very recently as well, because we've been expanding the shop downstairs. I've ran out of space for fly tying down there. Anyone that's ever been in our shop would have seen that we had a bit of fly tying, or my fly tying setup was down there. It is no more. We've actually moved upstairs, so I had to build a new fly tying desk there recently. Quite happy with it. Took a lot of what would I say, adjusting over the last week or two. So just getting, I've bits of pieces here everywhere now for this little dry. So this was a great little dry fly we've discovered throughout the season. Quite productive, and it was one that kind of stood out when I thought about what dry would I do tonight. This was the one. So I'm going to tie it on a size 16 301. Dohiku size 16 301. Lovely. Straighten it up a bit for you. Now, and it's a Primrose. So I'm actually going to just pull out the one now and make sure I get this right before I start, because I'll have a look at it. I tied a couple of them earlier on for whoever's going to win it. They're going to win these lovely little tries. But I'll make sure I get it to the original. Little bit of a Primrose tying silk here from Semperfli. Their Classic Waxed. And snip that off. And then bring my thread back up to the eye. Okay, going to start off here with a little bit of deer hair. Okay, nice little bit of dark, as you can see, dark but very distinctive tips in that deer hair. Not too much of a left on that little patch, but one I used for this particular pattern. Small little pinch. You can stack the tips if you want, folks. Absolutely, stack them if you want. For this little fly, I tend to just take a little bit more than I need and pinch out. I like a kind of an uneven. Switching over there, my hand and thumb. And I'm going to just tie them in there, out over the eye of the hook. Just tying them in there. Like so. So you can stack them if you want, but I just like that little bit more of a kind of uneven look to the... Take my scissors, hold up your waist out of the way and cut it back at a little angle. That's just so we get a nice even taper going back on that body. We're not going to get a big step down there. Well, you'll get a little bit of one, but we can manipulate it with thread now in a few moments. Just taking my time. Once I get that secured in quite well, I'll bring our thread back up. We have one more additive to that little wing, and we got some hairline CDC olive puffs. Okay, I'm going to take out 2 of these. Now, if you don't have the olive puffs, medium olive will do just fine at the back of this. It's just to give it a bit of extra buoyancy. I just like these because they're very, very soft. Match up the tips. And just put that in the top of the deer hair. Don't go quite as long as deer hair. Allow the deer hair to protrude a little bit further out than the CDC. Just take it down, take the thread down past the first step of deer hair, so you're not doubling up on those steps. And that's fine for the wing for the moment. And I'll continue on down the body now, tapering down that body. We'll be coming back up there in a moment to tidy up the body. Little bit of microflash pearl, piscarifly microflash pearl here for the tail. One single strand of it. Cut off more than you need. Tie it in there on top. Drag it down into position. And complete the bush of the fly like so. Small little tail, don't need to go too long. A couple of mil there. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start building my body back up. So I want a nice clean primrose butt. And I'm going to come up there 2 turns. It is actually, I nearly see it better on the camera than I would actually looking at it here. So I've got a nice little clean primrose butt there, as you can see. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just heat up a bit of cobbler's wax in my hand. Okay, a little bit of cobbler's wax, and we're going to do this kind of a 2-tone body. Okay, so it's going to start off with a nice primrose, and then it's gradually going to darken up as we get up higher up the body. Okay, so we use cobbler's wax for it. You want to warm it up a little bit. Normally, I'd maybe put it under the bum, or I'd have it actually in my hand when I'm tying the fly in the palm in my hand, and just warm it up a little bit. It just helps it apply to the silk better than it would if it's absolutely stone cold. Okay, it's just rub it in the hand there for a second, and it warms up the hands nicely too if you're on a cold evening. And I'm going to just start massaging that, rubbing that in there onto that silk, and it'll darken it up lovely. I use the cobbler's wax quite a bit. Primrose and cobbler's wax makes a lovely body for greenwells. Make sure it's well coated, and you'll see natural dark or olive brown coming on that thread. Don't go too far up the thread. Just go enough that it'll complete the body. Be careful because the thread does start cutting into the wax, and sometimes you can snap it off there. Thanks, Kieran. So what I'll do now is I'll just start winding till I get my hopefully you're starting to see a little bit of shade come on that body. It's not, the camera's not picking it up that great, but it's not a massive distinctive shade. It's a gradual, okay, it's a gradual colour change from the butt up onto what we're going to do next after we do this body. Okay, now it's very important that once we've completed our cobbler's wax, which is there now, okay, in order to really make that effective and really to give it a lovely body, and you should really try this yourselves at home. Okay, you can see this part of your hackle ply or your whip finish tool. Okay, and what I'll do with that is I'll start massaging that just like so, and it gives the loveliest shiniest body It puts a lovely shine, and you're polishing that wax basically with that little curved part of your whip finish tool. And it really is. It's the camera's not going to pick up on it really, but you can see the two tones there. But it just massages that in lovely into the cavities of the trades, kind of the little of each turn, and it gives a lovely effect to that body. I do the same with my green wells and stuff, and it's lovely. Thanks, Brian. Lovely effect on it once you give that bit of polish, and it evens out the wax. Like, it polishes a little bit, gives you a lovely subtle shine to it, but a beautiful natural looking body. Definitely, folks, if you haven't tried that, play around with it. It's worth playing with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add in a little bit of dyed olive fox squirrel. Okay, so a very, very small pinch of dyed olive fox squirrel. What I got here is a little flat bladed bull clip, and basically all I'm going to do is just get in there and clip a couple of those. Now you don't want, again, same as before, we really less is more here, okay? We just want to create a few little spiky legs on this dry fly. Okay, they just help support it. So I clipped on my bull clip, and I just get my scissors and root my scissors in there. Quite a fine hair. And I'll just snip across. Oh, missed it. Go again. In there now. Oh, missed it again. I'm really trying to get. I'll just brush them up a little bit there now, folks, and I'll just get in that way. And I'll get it this time. There we go. Okay, put that out of my way. So as you can see, my bull clip there now got a little bit of the fur near the skin, and I'm just going to tease that out. Again, less is more here. And we got a little bull clip now with a small bit of place that to one side. Now you're going to have to split this thread. A little bit more difficult to split than the Kevlar, but this is why we don't want that wax coming too far down the body or too far down the thread. If you have wax hanging on that thread there now, how you doing, Kevin? If you have that wax coming down that thread now, it's next to impossible to split. Okay, so when you're putting on your cobbler's wax, try and get as close as you can to use it all up, but don't run short or don't go over, because you won't split that thread. Where did me needle go to now for splitting? That's the one good thing now about having all the fly tying and the video and everything all in the one spot. Now, if I actually do happen to forget something, it is right beside me. It's great, you know. No more rolling around. So, same as I always do, I always massage it with the needle, as you can see. That's just to unspin it, make sure it's nice and flat. It helps to get a quick needle right through. As you can see, the more I massage there, the flatter it's getting. You can see how quite flat that gets very quickly. You know, so just give it a couple of rubs at the back of the needle, lay it across the finger, and then in over the top of the finger, then just try it. It's a little bit more slower to do because it's twisted. There we go. But if you massage it out like that with the needle, it'll help a good bit. Okay, so now I get my little bull clip with my fox squirrel, and I slide it up there. The thread onto two blades, and then as I open the two blades up, I slide the thread out and catch my little bit of fox squirrel. Okay, and as we did before, I'll massage it out, just spread it out along the thread, keeping the pressure of my left hand, keeping those two strands quite tight, so nothing's going to fall out. Not a little bit might, but not allowing any slack in there, because if I do, the whole thing will drop to the ground and you'll start again, which happens to everybody. So if it happens to you, don't worry about it. It happens to me quite a bit too. Okay, small little bit there, not much, even less I think would be better. Okay, I have about a quarter of an inch there of fox squirrel. Just get a bit of a spin on this. Spin it, trap it in, and create that little dubbing brush, as we did before. And as it starts to spin up, I might pluck a little bit slower now, because it's a bit awkward as thread when I have the yoke in it. And as it starts to spin up, we'll tease out and pluck out any unwanted larger hairs off of that squirrel. Hey Dick, very welcome. Thanks very much for being back on us here, Dick Croak there. So once I've spun that up and got a nice little dubbing brush there, as you can see again, nice spiky little dubbing brush, probably even too much on that, so I can just remove a few more. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put that in just up there at the back between the body, and as you can see where I've just put it in there, one turn too many as I can see on the camera. So with the last little bit of squirrel, lift up your wing and just get that last turn right under that wing. Give it a little bit of a cock up, and you've got a nice little hackle there at the moment. We're going to just catch our finger and thumb and just brush that back a little bit to expose the eye of the hook, just to get it turning there. And then I'm going to whip finish, catching the last guard hair too, last hair too, just to get it all back in over. Tighten up and remove your thread. And that's it there. I leave it kind of, wouldn't say rough, but I like those kind of, you can give it a little bit of a brush out if you want, but I don't over, thanks Wayne, I don't over do that little hackle, little dubbing hackle we put in there. You want the kind of bits, you know, not all over the place, but you know, a bit rustic I suppose would be the best way to describe it. Lovely little olive. Beautiful little olive. Caught some amount of trout in that this year, folks. Unbelievable. Everything from a size 20 right up to a size 16. Absolutely fantastic olive. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Robert. Good to have you back on with us here, Robert. Thanks, Jared. Yeah, really, if you're going to tie a dry fly for next season, folks, that was an absolute bomb. Like the amount of fish we took on that on the blind this year was just unbelievable. Really attractive pattern. You say if you don't have the CDC fluffs, don't be too over fussy with that. Use a little bit of small CDC, or just, you know, pick it off the stem. Don't have that too stiff. You're only just looking for the little bit of CDC to help with the buoyancy, and it just gives a lovely. I think it's the two-tone body. If you saw that fly in real life, I'll try to take some pictures of it for Monday for whoever's going to win it. Don't forget, if you share the stream, you get to win these flies. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, John. How you doing, John? Great to meet John today down at Adair Springs. John Maru was on there tying some absolutely fantastic flies down there in hey Luca, another one for the box. Absolutely another one for the box, but that is a must, folks. That was unbelievable this season. John was down trying some great flies there at Adair Springs today at the launch of the Irish Spring Angler Fair in 2023. Don't miss, it's going to be a great event. So there we go, folks. There's another little one of our discoveries from the season gone by. Question, Kevin. Really, when I'm fishing sort of little dries like that, depends where I'm fishing it, but thanks, Cyril. You know, I won't over, thanks, Sean, I won't over put floating on some of them flies. Now, I will spray them with, see, this is great, I've everything right beside me, folks. I will spray them with my shoe repellents. We've spoke about that before, using protecting for leather and suede shoes. Don't worry about the brand, folks. Once it's protecting for leather and suede shoes, I will spray all my dries with that once I tie them, and then leave them to soak overnight and dry out. And they will, thanks, Robbie. They will float forever. Okay, so you don't need to gink them up then or anything like that. If they get a bit heavy along the way, I might give them a little bit of a touch of Armadillo, and then maybe a little bit of powder or something like that. But most time, once I give that protector, that's what I done. It's done previously to me going fishing. I wouldn't really gink something like that. I think it would just take too much away from the wing. I'm not, you know, it's a very, very light little wing, and if yeah, absolutely, Mike, it'll be worth having the box. So the shoe spray is what I would treat them all with first. That's gone into the box there, folks. Someone's going to win them on Monday. So I'm going to hand this over now. Robbie Berry, one of our regulars here with us, has been watching the show with us for the last couple of years, has kindly agreed. Robbie, for those people that thanks. Martin, that I would use that mostly on rivers, but I'm sure that tied in the olives on a 16 or a 14, you'd have no it would be a very fishy fly in a larger. I didn't try it on the lakes this year, Martin, but it would be well worth it. The body, you know, if you saw the body, a real good picture of the body. But back to what I was just mentioning there, Robbie Berry has kindly agreed. For those who don't know, actually, Robbie is a taxidermist. Okay, he's done a lot of training in taxidermy, and he's very highly skilled. And you know, it's a real interesting part in fly tying, because we all use feathers and we all use skins, and now I've used several different types of skins and feathers here already, and we're only in the first hour of our first of our 23 series, so it'll be countless amount of times I'm going to be using fur and feather over the next couple of months. You know, and we buy it, and you know, it's the best way to get it, but Yeah, absolutely, Jared. Yeah, we spoke about it. When we do a dry fly session, Jared, I will talk a lot more about the spray and different ways of treating our dry flies and stuff. Make sure you check that one. You know, and processing stuff ourselves, protecting our feathers, but also harvesting our feathers is a big thing. And a lot of people, and I get asked a million times a year about, oh, if I get find a pheasant tail on the ground, if I pick it up, can I bring it in my fly tying room? What do I do with it? You know, how do I treat it? Blah, 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 blah. But Robbie has made a very excellent series of videos for us, folks. He's going to be on here with us nearly every second week, discussing different animals, different birds that we have obtained over the summer months, roadkill, different things like that, stuff that we've got from farms and stuff. And we've made a series of videos, well, Robbie has made a series of videos on how to protect your materials, how to harvest feathers, the different feathers from all the different types of birds, how to do some skinning, different things like that, tanning. Absolutely fantastic information. So Robbie did a little intro for us for tonight, just to let you all know what's coming down the road. Definitely don't be missing any of these videos. They are fantastic. What a wealth of information Robbie has, and great guy at presenting it. And thanks so million, Robbie. Really appreciative you'll come on and share your information with us. It's always great. You know, it's great with the community that we have here, and we've had this community for the last number of years of people that are willing to come on and share. We've got some great guests coming on this year. Robbie, 10 out of 10. These were fantastic. So I'm going to leave you for a few minutes, folks, for a little bit of an intro into Robbie, to give you an insight into what's coming down the road for this season as regards feather care and feather harvesting. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you all back here now in 5 or 10 minutes. I'm getting used to clicking all these buttons again.
Hi all, how are you getting on? I'm Robbie Berry and you're very welcome to be joining me. I'm absolutely delighted and very excited to be joining Peter this year as a guest on the show. It's a massive privilege. I want to introduce you all to the side of the hobby, a quick introduction basically to the side of the hobby that leads to a lot of questions being asked. How do we gather, treat and preserve bird skins, bird feathers for fly tying? So basically, you know, it does lead to a lot of questions. A little bit of an insight into myself. I am an avid fisherman, so I am a very keen fisherman. Fishing is my passion, all aspects of it. So from fly fishing, obviously, to coarse fishing, bait fishing, you name it, sea fishing. I do it all. Absolutely live for it. I'm a dry fly fisherman by heart, so ultimately when you see me on the river, it's 99% of the time I'm fishing dry fly. I very rarely fish any other method, although I do dabble in a bit in Euro nymphing, upstream nymphing and a bit of wet fly fishing. It's ultimately the dry fly that entertains me, or that interests me, and that I get the best kick out of. And have done for probably the last nearly 30 years that I'm fly fishing, or fishing. I'm an avid hunter, so I do a small bit of hunting, and I am a taxidermist, and that's ultimately what I want to talk about. That's enabled me basically to incorporate this skill here into fly tying. So I practice taxidermy. Now I don't do it professionally and I don't do it commercially. I do it as a hobby for myself, because I can get my hands on birds quite easily and quite readily. So you know, it's what to do with these is the next step. So taking up taxidermy was another bit of a passion for myself. It was an interest, a hobby that I liked. So I took it up, and I'm practicing taxidermy for myself now, going on nearly 20 years. So I'd like to think I'm well seasoned at it. Now, like I said, I don't do it for customers or professionally. I do it only for myself. But like I said, it has enabled me to basically incorporate the skills into fly tying, and basically, you know, it has enabled me to preserve, treat, and gather the feathers I need to fly tie, or to tie flies. Sorry. So basically, like I said, a quick introduction, guys. So over the next couple of weeks and months on Peter's show, we're going to be delving in depth into the various steps, stages and processes that's involved in getting the feathers or getting the birds from this stage here where you see the hen pheasant they have and the cock pheasant. So basically going through the various different feathers we're going to be going through on these, what feathers you can tie, what feathers to gather, what flies can be tied with them. We'll be going through that. We'll be looking at each feather on the bird in detail, and what flies can be tied. So we'll be looking at that in depth. How to get the feathers from this stage on the birds to this stage where they're in bags, treated, cleaned and ready for use. So treating and cleaning and bug proofing is going to be a big thing that we're going to be looking at, because that is key, guys. Last thing you want to be doing is introducing an infestation into your good feathers at home in your workstation and stuff. So that's key. So that's an important one, and we'll be definitely looking at that in depth. There's a bit of a process in that, but we'll be looking at that and showing you all how to do that. Basically, again, we'll be looking at CDC, and I have various little bits of it here packed up. But again, identifying the CDC on a duck and how we treat that. It's treated a little bit different than that there, and how I do it, but how we treat it and steps for doing that, and also the flies that can be tied with. So we're looking at a bit of dyeing. So I've got bronze mallard dyed golden olive here, and we'll be looking at dyeing various different feathers and stuff, again how that's done, and ultimately preserving. How do we preserve? And this is the question that everyone asks. How do you preserve bird skins, and how do you preserve birds and dry them out and stuff like that? And ultimately that is what we're going to be looking at. So having from getting the birds from this stage here where they're whole to basically a fully fledged and skinned pheasant that I've done earlier in the year. So dried, ready for use, cleaned, preserved. So we'll be looking at that, how to do that. We'll be looking at basically the breaking down the skins. So I'll go through that with you. So when you've skinned the bird, and you want to basically break down the skin into various different, capes, if you want to call it that, or sections like the rump, church windows and stuff. We'll be looking at that there. So again, and then bird wings. So if you want to pull the wings off, you want to pull the wing quills out separately, or you want to just preserve the whole wing, we'll be looking at that there, and how to basically clean and preserve the wings. So ultimately, using borax, this stuff here, it's a necessity for anyone dealing with birds, borax, and I'll be showing you all how to use borax, amongst other chemicals as well. So there'll be a few various other chemicals that I do use, sprays I do use, but borax is the main one, and I'll be showing everyone how to preserve and skin and break down the birds into various settings using the borax, and how to clean them. So like I said, guys, there's no shortage of stuff to go through over the next couple of weeks and months with you, and I'm very excited to and looking forward to actually getting into it with you and passing on my skills, and ultimately picking up new tricks and skills from whatever you can show me, because I'm sure there's people going to be watching this that do this already, and you'll have different techniques to me. So I'm always excited to be learning new things and picking up new tricks and new things from other people. So I'll be looking forward to that, but ultimately looking forward to passing this on and getting you all ready to start getting into this side of it, because it's very rewarding. Okay, it's very rewarding. Part of the hobby is to be able to gather your own feathers and then tie flies with that feather and then catch fish with that fly. So brilliant. It's there's nothing like it out there. So yeah, guys, I'm excited for it, and can't wait. So looking forward to joining you all, and looking forward to showing you everything. So yeah, see you over the next couple of weeks. Thanks, everyone.
There we go, folks. Robbie Berry there. Lovely introduction. Thanks a million for that, Robbie. Really looking forward to seeing some of Robbie's stuff. I've seen a couple of snippets of his videos already of explaining and talking about fur and feather and stuff like that. So great addition to the show. Really appreciate it, Robbie. And you know, folks, if anybody has anything they ever want to share on the shows, this is a forum here for anybody that wants to share. It's not just about me here talking about piscarifly and products and selling gear and like that. It's always been about a community, about fly tyers, sharing information, and if other businesses, we have lots of people interested in different people that are involved and make their living from the fly tying and fly fishing game here in Ireland. They're going to be on with us every year, as we always have. So if anybody out there has any videos or they want to do a bit of fly tying show, you're more than welcome. Okay, get in touch with me, send me a video, and we'll have a chat about it and get it up at some stage when when the topic of that particular night suits what you want to tie or what you want to talk about. Plus, if you know you're into the fly tying game, by all means, you're more than welcome to come on here and share with the group. So what I'm going to move on to now, folks, what I'm going to move on there to is our last fly tonight. Okay, so this is probably, without a doubt, the most common lake flight I tied this year, and even up to a week ago people were still looking for a dozen of them, so I've used a lot of material to tie it over there, but it has been really productive. Lovely Stimulator pattern. It's on a size 10 B175. I might have to just adjust that camera up a little bit. Just bear with me 1 second now, folks. I'm just going to rise it up a bit. You're very welcome, Robbie. Great. Dave is on there, folks. The question is coming up. So just bear with me 1 second now. I'm just going to get that up a little bit to allow for this. I just move this a slight bit some way. We have a whole new camera system set up this way. So Dave is coming up with his trivia question there now, folks. Watch out. Dave will give us a shout there who's the winner. We got a lovely little pack of goodies here. Loads of little bits and pieces and stickers in there. Some indicator sections, tapered leaders and all that kind of stuff. So watch out there. Winner of the question, Dave will monitor that one. We'll get... yeah, Chris, this will be up on YouTube tomorrow, so it'll be up there for you to go on and enjoy afterwards. But Dave will be on there with trivia question. Don't forget to share the stream, hit the share button or send in a comment, and you'll be in to win all the flies that were tied tonight. We'll do that draw, well, the wife will do the draw on Monday. I wouldn't be taking enough. So, say B175 Kamasan there. Tied a couple of variations. I photographed one of these flies up on Facebook there a while ago, a couple of weeks ago. Robbie Berry wants an easy question there, Dave. But there is a couple, so I said I'll do the full dressing tonight. Some people didn't want so much bling and blang with it. Some people wanted the full whack, so we're going to do the full whack here tonight. There's a bit of tying in this one now, folks. I've got Tommi-fly number 14 here in my hand, and I'm going to start off with a little, it's a hot orange, okay? So I'm going to start off here with a little bit of a hot orange butt at this fly. So leave on the tag end, don't cut off that tag end. We're going to need that now in a moment. So I come down around, just around the bend of the hook, and bring my thread back up. Okay, now when you're doing a tag end on this, make sure you come well up the body. As you can see, my tag is coming well up the body. I'm going to explain why I do that now in a minute. Dave's questions up there now, folks. So what I'm bringing is I'm bringing my tag end over the top and trapping it back into my thread, and that just stops your tag from slipping down the hook. Okay, nice and tight. 1 or 2 turns, give it another little bit of a tighten, and make sure it's nice and tight and secured in. Okay, it just stops that tag from slipping down the hook. I don't want to put any varnishes or anything like that. I think it takes away from it a little bit. So I secure my tag end like that. Whip finish off, and you're ready to go. And as you can see, that thread and the hot orange silk has come up halfway up the body of the hook. Okay, and the reason behind that is because with a stimulator pattern we're going to put in the deer hair tail. If I don't bring it up when I'm actually mounting that deer hair tail, if there's a bit of a knuckle back here somewhere where it's going to be mounted, it will force that tail up too high. So we want to make sure that we're actually mounting the tail on top of all that thread. I'll take my Kevlar now, and I'll start in my Kevlar, and I'll come right back down over that butt, securing in the butt as well, but also creating the perfect foundation for I'll do my best, Dylan. Yeah, I'll do my best. It can be a bit of a process at times, Dylan. But I'll do my best. Dylan's looking for a list of flies tied and materials list. I'll try my best to include that in the YouTube, in the description of the videos. I am actually going to be, I know people have, it's a common question I get asked. Do you remember what episode it was that you tied that dry fly or that nymph or that stimulator or whatever? It's a question I get asked quite regularly, so I am going to try and do that this year, Dylan. Deirdre normally does that for me on a Sunday morning, folks, when I'm relaxing. When I'm relaxing, so I'll have to talk nice to Deirdre now and do her up a little note and see if she'll do it for me when she's putting in the description. So here I got some olive deer hair. Okay, I'm not going to say it's a dark olive, somewhere between a dark and a medium olive. Okay, it's Deveau, it's French. Okay, extra fine deer hair. Okay, love it on the stimmies, really fine, lovely. Floats through, quite buoyancy as well. Brilliant. How you doing, Alessio? Hope you're well. Watching there with Gianluca. So that's what I'm using. Okay, that olive dubbin, we have it in the shop down there, or that olive deer hair. Sorry, and I'm going to take a small pinch of that. And just nip it out there to the bowl. As you can see, that nice decent patch is fairly well smothered now from this year. So Wayne is the first one in with the complete answer. Well done, Wayne. Wayne, congratulations. I'll get that little pack off to you on Monday morning. Well done. Thanks to Dave, of course. Dave Donovan's back on with us there, folks, this year. So you can see I got a nice little pinch of that deer hair. And I'm going to tie it in there, just a little bit beyond the bend of the hook. It will flare a little bit for the moment, but I don't mind. We'll work it into position now once we get it tied in. With the Kevlar, I don't put over strenuous turns on it. Don't put too much pressure. Kevlar can cut it, can cut through till we get it all finished up and mounted properly. Back over and just secure it in. Holding the tail, I'll just go in there and I'll just nip out some of that waste. Just taper back up along the body. You don't need to clean it out completely. We'll be working over that now in a minute. Okay. Extra couple of turns up along there. Trap it all in. And there's our nice little flat tail. Okay. Yeah, his name is Wayne, Dave. Muck Savage is his handle on Facebook, but Wayne is his real name. It took me a few months of talking to Wayne and before I actually realised his name wasn't Muck, it's actually Wayne. Now what I've got here is I got some Hends Krystal Flash again. This is number 30. This is a dark olive crystal flash. Okay, see if I can get a look at some of that there. Okay, you can see it's a lovely dark olive crystal flash, quite fine, lovely material. And I'm going to take 2 strands of that. I'm going to snip out 2 little bits of it. That was bad, man. 2 little bits, 2 little strands of that, no more. I want 1 on each side basically. It's just, we're just not overpowering it with the crystal flash, but I want a little subtle of that dark olive flash in the tail. 2 strands, just lay them in there, kind of get them on either side. Doesn't have to be perfect on either side, but you want enough just to give you that little subtle flash in the tail, as you can see there now. Okay, and take away your waste and secure everything in well and tidy everything up before we move on to our next stage. Okay, for the rib of this fly we are going to use fine oval gold, and again it's great because I had forgotten to put it in my tub, so I have my drawer beside me and I'm able to reach in. So this fine old oval gold small. Yeah, Stimmies, Johnny McGar's on with us there. Stimmies are, yeah, they're, I love tying the Stimmies too. Well, I say I love them, but they are nice flies to tie. And when you have to tie 4 dozen of the same pattern, you tend to lose the love an awful lot quick, but they are, they're a beautiful fly when they're tied. Fantastic top dropper fly. I think that's where most guys that fish this fly this year were fishing it on a top dropper and really found it successful. I got a little bit of dark olive seals fur here. Robbie's on there, folks, if asking. If anybody has any questions, of course, reach out to Robbie there. He's always on hand to share his information. Before I put on that seals fur, folks, I'm going to put a little bit of wax on the thread just to help get it nice and tight to the thread. A little bit of beeswax. And then I put me, and as always, less is more with the dubbin. It's always easy to add on an extra bit and to take it off. and bring it up your body. Now, of course, with a stimulator, don't go the whole way up near the head of the fly. Okay. Now, a little bit of a black saddle hackle here. This is for the palmer hackle. Add that in there. And take that up the body. So nice palmer up that now. And then wind back on down here. Just jigging it back and forward, making sure we don't trap down too many of those hackles. Take the pressure off the rib, put it on the thread, secure it in. Get the fine point scissors in there, slide it in and take out that bit of waste. Do the same with that. And give her a little bit of a pull back. A couple of extra turns there to make sure everything's well tidied up. Now, I'm going to take some more of the deer hair. Same colour. I got my little deer hair stacker here this time. And what I'm going to do is take probably 3 times as much as that's in the tail and put it in for the wing. Offer it up to the fly just to get a look. As you can see, it's hardly even in need of a stacking. Okay. But what I will do is I will add it into my stacker. Slide it in down along there. And then I will go back to my crystal flash. Come on, John. Great information coming in there. And I'll take about 5 or 6 strands of crystal flash. You don't have to go too long. 5 or 6 strands of crystal flash. And add them into your stacker as well. And it'll just help that crystal flash get in amongst that deer hair. Rather than adding it to the side or adding it on top. I want it kind of to be in the wing. If you get me. 2 taps, get it all in there. Take your time sliding it out. Lovely. Pinch it out. And then as you can see, our crystal flash is not 100% inside of it, but it's not bad. You're not going to achieve that with your hands, but it's maybe 1 or 2 too many maybe. Take out 1 there now before you tie it in. It just adds a lovely little dark olive shimmer to that wing, but it's not overpowering or it's not overdressing the fly. Round loosely, tighten up. A couple of tighter turns down along to secure it in well. And then holding my wing back, I'll get in underneath between the eye and thread, and I'll start tapering that back out. We'll tidy it all up in a minute now with the thread. Then we get our wing. You want that wing kind of sitting back down a little bit. You can see now how that sparkle is inside the wing. Not so much sitting on the outside of it or sitting on the top of it, but it's actually kind of in it, like, you know. Absolutely top dropper, top hue is where, yeah, and it's been fished on Sheelan, it's been fished on Mask, it's been fished on Corrib throughout the entire season, and absolutely all reports came back that, you know, it's a real good fish catcher. But you can see that little bit of a stacking, that effect. I've tried to wrap my hand, it's next to impossible. But you can see how that flashes inside the wing now more. So when you see that wet, you'll really get a good understanding of what I mean by the flashes inside the wing. It doesn't overpower the fly, or it's up inside the wing. So a little bit of a stack there is a great little. So I'm going to just secure in that head end. Make sure everyone's now well secure before we move to our next step. Bit of tying in this one. So here we got a grizzle, dark olive grizzle cape, and you can see she's been well ravaged over the month, or over the couple of months. There's a nice big section of a gone down. A few, 1 or 2 little feathers left on the side here that I'm going to use for tonight. I'm going to try find it. I was going to pluck it off and put it to one side, but I said I better not, because if I did and I lost it, I wouldn't be able to finish the fly. I'd have to do a bit of dyeing now this winter to get that back again. So I've got a little... so there's Jamie, good question. The Stimulator is the name of the type of fly, the style of fly. Okay, I actually must do some research, or if anybody happens to know who was the inventor of Stimulator or where did it come from. But it's the style of the fly. It'd be like a dabbler or it'd be like a sage. It's the style of the tie-in. So stimmies can be done in any range of colours, Jamie. You know, white stimmies, claret stimmies, black stimmies. Fantastic fly, really good top dropper or middle fly, as was mentioned there before. So I've just cleaned off the stem of that fly, or the hackle, and I'm just going to add that in there now. And just take away my waste. Then I'm going to use what's called a little bit of gleamy dubbing, which is from Hends. Gleamy dubbing. Now you can use seals fur here as well if you want, or you can use an orange here. Is quite good actually in this fly as well. I've done some of them. People have requested them with an orange, but I use in the original. It was the gleamy dubbing. As you can see, it's lovely in red, but it has a very subtle little sparkle to it as well. A little shine more than a sparkle, I'd say. It's a bit glassy. It would be a really good way of describing it. And I'm going to take a small pinch of that now. Dave, good man, Dave. How you doing, Dave? Hope you're keeping well up there in Mount Mellick. Dave is always a great man for the information. So Randall Fuffman, if I pronounced that correct, was he the inventor, Dave? So I'm adding in a little bit of that. Don't need too much of this in here. Just a bit of dubbing there up in the head of that fly. I need to actually do that again, and I should have waxed there, folks. Sorry. Gleamy can be a little bit similar to seals fur. Sometimes it goes on pretty easy, and sometimes you got to put a little bit of you're working on the device, Lucas. So sometimes you got to put a little bit of wax on that there just to help that dubbing stick. And just get that on there, just thread up to the eye. Hackle pliers. Now we're going to take that grizzle. Hold your wing down while you put the first turn in near the wing, just so it doesn't shift any parts of that wing. And start winding it up. Just taking my time here now because making sure I get it spaced out nicely. You're going to get around 4 to 5 turns up that head. Get the thread in there, trap it off. Be careful with the tip, it's quite fine, especially when you're working with these smaller feathers. A couple of turns in there, and then it's secure. Get in there, take away my little waste. Just stroking back those feathers out of my way. I don't want to crumple down those shoulder hackles too much. We want them sticking out so it will create that bit of noise. The one thing the Stimulator is really good at is what we call on the top dropper, creating noise, you know, being pulled through the wave or being pulled through a riffle. It makes a bit of disturbance. It can often get the fish's attention, you know, and the fish will come up to see what's going on or to chase it, and they often take a fly that's coming behind it when you're fishing a team of wets. You know, and a stimmy could be a really good attractor pattern, but that's also a good fish catcher as well in its own right. Any little bit of unwanted material, now that's just in the way there for me, and there we go. An absolute beautiful dark olive stimmy. Really was very, very productive this year. Very popular on all the western lakes and southern lakes, tied in all sizes. So, good man Dave, he's credited with the original, but there's also another guy who named, I can't remember, also credited with the original for a stonefly pattern. Okay, perfect. Great. But there we go. Great lock style fly over here. Absolutely, Martin, definitely one for the box. And again, probably our number one debate. You know, we tied a lot of really good lake flies this year for a lot of people, and thanks everyone for the orders. We really do appreciate them. It keeps us going here. But that was probably the biggest impact, or the biggest feedback of the season, was that particular fly. So right from, you know, tied, probably first one in around March or something like that. someone came on and looked for a dark olive Stimi with a real black body, and that's what we tied for him and sent it over to. And yeah, he had great success on a little bit of a hot tag. There's hot ass as well, as you can see. But the one thing that lovely for me is that wing, that flash in the wing. And thanks, Cyril. The flash inside the wing rather than on top of it or outside of it is great. So just do that in your steer hair stacker, and you'll see how that crystal flash can get inside the wing. You won't do it in your hands. I've tried, trust me, and you'll waste more deer hair than you'll actually do it. But there we have it, folks. Our first show, 3 lovely patterns there reflecting back on our season gone. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Great to see so many people back on with us. Don't forget, anybody who shared the stream or comments on the stream will be in for that. Also goes for our YouTubers tomorrow, folks. If you stick a comment in the comments box, then you will see you will be entered in the draw for all the flies. These flies are all gone into a little tub here now, so too will that, and I will send them out to somebody on Monday or Tuesday morning. Thanks Bernard, thanks Jim, thanks Robert. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. Next week we got another great show lined up for you folks. We got 20 odd shows lined up now this year. Got some great guest tires. Some of the old favourites are coming back, so we got some fantastic new people on. Everybody's welcome to come and join in. It's live chat. Really do appreciate all your custom and your support throughout the 12 months, and looking forward to reaching out to people and talking to people in this great forum we've created here over the winter months, and share our fly tie-in and our experiences throughout the year. So stay tuned for next. Oh, by the way, before I go, folks, I won't be here next Saturday night. I'll be here Friday night. Okay, I'll put up a post early in the week. There's something on next Saturday night. My parents are married 50 years, so I have to go to Wexford to celebrate with that with my mum and dad. But we will be here Friday night. I'll put up a post well in advance in the week to remind us all. We will be here next Friday night at 8:30, and then the following week we're back to our Saturday night. It's just I got to go up and say celebrate the 50th with mum and dad. But thanks a million for everyone, all your comments, your shares. Thanks to Dave Donovan for coming on with his trivia. Thanks to Robbie Berry, really looking forward to his videos, and Peter Wadding, and everybody else that's going to be involved in the show over the next 5 or 6 months. So thanks to everyone. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you all next Friday night at 8:30, and look forward to it. Thanks everyone. Take care.